taxes and vaccines and everything else. There is a major persecution going on. Caseworker demands follow public school curriculum or we'll take your kids. That's just another case. I mean, there is an all-out war. I had the health department contact me a week ago and said, you haven't filled out your vaccine exemption form in 3 years. You need to fill it out. I want to look at the state law. Didn't even have to do that. But the law says it's voluntary. But fill out this form so they can track you and surveil you. This is the atmosphere that we're in this country. So we'll be covering that report. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to get to it in detail now. We got to get Larry Pratt on at 12:30 today if we can, or Sunday or Monday. We need him immediately. As fast as we can. Please call every number we've got. Secret deal could contain a myriad of gun restrictions, ammo bans. That's Gun Owners of America. Full article, Infowars.com. And believe me, if we didn't have Gun Owners of America to make the NRA hardcore, and even Ted Nugent said that on the air, and he's on the board of the NRA, we'd be down the creek without a you-know-what, a wooden implement, without a paddle. Secret deal could contain a myriad of gun restrictions, ammo bans. Now, there's 30-plus provisions. Only one's been leaked by WikiLeaks last year, and it says total takeover of the web, web taxes, web regulations, internet IDs, Chinese-style controls. It's all being lined up right now. Congress can't see it. Again, just we're worried about a federal takeover sometime. It already happened, a global takeover. And they break down in a 4-page article everything that are being done here. But they're giving Obama fast track. Only the congressional leadership, bipartisan, Mitch McConnell, Boehner, and the Democrats, who now say they love Obama, the Republican leadership, to fast track the TPP. I'm going to read over some of this article, but Obama said he would do this outside of domestic law, and they are moving forward with it. And they've massively increased the size of the BATF, and they've been trying to take our guns, and now they're restricting ammo and having the veterans have their guns taken outside of law. It's on. But it's another Cold War against the Second Amendment that's starting to heat up. A long, incremental conditioning process, like our military being conditioned to accept anti-gun, anti-patriot missions and training. And it's in the video games, in the cartoons, it's in the movies, and then it's in the actual manuals that our military is being prepared to fight their number one enemy, themselves, returning veterans. And as Congressman Gohmert said, listen, the Pentagon trains to take on veterans. I'm a veteran myself of the Army. Why is Texas listed hostile? Well, now we know. Indeed, the Pentagon is mapping the United States according to who they think won't go along with the takeover. And surprise, surprise, as Gomer Pyle would say, guess who's listed? Now, yes, you can turn the Jade Helm map. I want to pull up this graphic later. German newspaper's been reporting on it. And turn the states pretty much on their side like the Middle East. And Texas is Iran. And you go right through the other red zone. Utah is Syria. And then the West Bank is Southern California. And you can see that map. And you can say, well, it's also a logistical attack for the Middle East and an overflight plan. And that's true, too. Everything the globalists do is multi-use, multi-training. And no one is blaming the troops themselves. It's where the strings go back to, as Chuck Norris wrote for WorldNet Daily. Secret deal could contain a myriad of gun restrictions, ammo bans. And then Larry Pratt, in this article, goes over the different angles and where they're actually already talking about it. So it's on. We're going to go over that. And then that ties into this huge news. The Secretary of Defense, Carter, has come out and said, we're not planning martial law this summer. We're not going to take Texas over. Which we didn't say this was for. We're going to come back and cover that as well. But the good news is the sleeping giant is awakening, and they can't assassinate the people. That Congress can't be investigated for insider trading. You want to know why they're so corrupt? They got a license to steal. According to them, well, you can't pass a law saying you can commit a crime when it's illegal for other people to do it. That's just in jurisprudence. It's well known. It's called tyranny. We've got record 93,194,000 Americans not in the labor force. A record 56 million women not working. April unemployment, 5.4, it's more like 10%. Up 223+ thousand. I'm going to break down what I think happened in the UK election. Up on Infowars.com, I just mentioned this. Police seized 10 children from off-the-grid homeschooling family. Secret deal could contain a myriad of gun restrictions, ammo bans. That's coming up. The 90,000 square foot, $100 million home that is a metaphor for America. Rush asked why left isn't censoring gay marriage so as not to incite radical Islamicists. That's right. You got to censor all free speech that's conservative or libertarian because it might anger the Islamicist. But the gay marriage has to continue. Notice the Islamicists haven't been attacking too much of that. That's just some of what's coming up. But getting back to Carter denies internet rumors. That's the Secretary of Defense. No Texas takeover planned. And that way, when there isn't a takeover, martial law, gun confiscation this summer, they can say, look, you were all crazy. That's called putting out a false argument. That's called constructing a straw man. You know, if you can't really beat Mayweather in the ring as a welterweight, you just build a papier-mâché of him, and you beat that up, and you say that you beat up Mayweather. Or if you can't beat a top golfer, say a Tiger Woods, at golf, you just find some neighbor that's never played golf before, tell him his name's Tiger, and you go out. You know, he's a white guy. He's not Tiger Woods. Doesn't play golf. You beat him, and you say you beat Tiger Woods. That's what a straw man is. Carter denies internet rumors. No Texas takeover planned. Associated Press in newspapers across the country. Defense Secretary Ash Carter flatly denied last night that frenzied internet speculation that the U.S. military exercise in Texas is part of a hostile takeover or other nefarious Pentagon mission. Well, there is drills all over the country with footage of the military with role players saying they're sovereign citizens or patriots. And the vets are having their guns taken right now, and there is gun confiscation and knock and talks going on around the country asking about people's guns. And there is an open border outside of law, and there is all this tyranny. And Obama says he's going to raise taxes through executive orders. So, yeah, people are concerned about everything, and that's good. But they hope to make all of our concerns rise and fall on Jade Helm and make it just about that. But believe me, they don't like the fact that there's such an awakening to this. Asked during a news conference about Jade Helm 15 exercise and whether the Pentagon was planning to overtake Texas. And again, if we go to the Pentagon website, you can go to the Office of the Secretary, and they have the video there. Carter simply said no as people in a packed room laughed. Oh, see, they get invited into the room like White House vets people, too, if they all play along. Ha, ha, ha. It's funny to say we're a police state and have warrantless wiretapping and TSA while the border's wide open. Oh, there's nothing wrong. The IRS isn't taking people's houses and businesses with no proof of anything. There's no asset forfeiture seizure. There's no political persecution of the press. Well, wait, there is all of that. The exercise is the largest conducted by U.S. Army Special Operations Command. The military routinely conducts massive air, ground, sea, and training around the world, and often with multiple other countries. The problem here is that it's clearly infiltration training, and the Army manuals say they're training to take on the American people. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has asked State Guard to monitor the training exercise last week, where the 200 people packed a meeting in rural Bastrop, and other cities are canceling it, asking whether the government was planning to confiscate guns or implement martial law. Well, they've been training to do it for a while, and they did it in Katrina. So, yeah, we're here ready. Ever vigilant, as the founders said, and they can't stand it. They go on to have the Defense Department say they're very upfront with their training activities. Oh, yeah, that's why they would say that black helicopters basically don't exist when they're doing these huge drills and tell you you're crazy if you saw them blow up something near you or, military training to take over the local gun shop. And I got news. They got military doing law enforcement all over the country illegally. We've got it on video.